to the camera. Do you finally want to be able to touch your toes? Or maybe you just want to be and feel less stiff overall and work on improving your flexibility so you can do the things that you love better. Things like hiking, snowboarding, and lifting at the gym. As a physiotherapist, I feel like there are typically two different camps of people. There's one camp of people who love to do strength training and focus on getting stronger and stronger, but they never ever stretch because they find it to be too boring or too time consuming. There's the other camp of people who love to stretch but never lift weights heavier than 5 pounds because lifting weights or stepping foot into the weights section of the gym may be too intimidating, or they think that if they lift heavier weights, they will start looking too big and bulky. If you're somebody within that first camp of people who despises stretching, or you feel way older than your actual biological age because of how stiff you feel every day, especially when you first get up in the morning, or you're just somebody who feels like you can improve on your flexibility and mobility, you are in the right place watching this video. In this video, I'm going to go over with you step by step on the best exercises you should do to help you improve your functional mobility and flexibility without the need to do any static stretching at all. After implementing this routine into your life, it is then up to you to go off and show off to your friends and family how you can finally touch your toes. So just do it. Set it onto your calendar, make this set of exercises a priority, and set aside a bit of time each day and even every other day into your routine and schedule. Because if you do these exercises every day or even every other day for a couple of weeks, you will be shocked to see how much improvement you can make with your ability to touch your toes, and even your functional movements and your ability to do the things that you love will significantly improve as well. Who knows, you may finally be able to do the unimaginable, to finally be able to touch your toes. Then share this video with your friends and family so they can also feel younger and age backwards with time. This routine has even worked for me as somebody who despises stretching. I have found that doing a routine like what I'm about to show you and keeping myself physically active at the gym, training with exercises and movement patterns through full ranges of motion, I'm able to access full ranges of motion with my muscles and joints without ever needing to hold a static stretch for minutes on end. So comment below if you're also a gym rat like me. I would love to post more gym related content if you guys might be interested in that type of content. Okay, so now back to my rant about static stretching. Because a lot of people attribute testing your overall flexibility as your ability to touch your toes, this video will be to help us improve on this particular movement. To achieve this, a lot of people tend to hold lots of hamstring stretches for seconds and minutes, but in my humble opinion, while I do think there's a time and a place to incorporate static stretching into somebody's exercise routine, especially if you currently have any injuries or pains and aches. But if you don't currently have any pain and aches or injuries, you can probably get away with doing more mobility and functional strength exercises targeting eccentric strength, which is what we will go over in this video, and still get the results that you want. So if you sound like me, somebody who hates stretching and needs something more exciting and functional, this video will hopefully give you insights on what exercises are actually more effective than static stretching and guide you through a routine that could be implemented into your training or life schedule and help you keep your flexibility and mobility through life. And today I have a special guest with us. If you heard that little tiny bark just now, it's because we've got little Cinnamon with us. Hello to the camera. It's down here. There. So in this step-by-step guide, here's the overview. We're going to first address the mobility of our lower back and hips. Then we'll address the neurodynamics of our nervous system, which sometimes could be something that we may be neglecting. And lastly, we cannot forget the eccentric strengthening that will help us to solidify the flexibility gains that we get from doing these exercises. So if you like the sounds of that, please show your support and hit the like button below, and let's get on with our exercise demonstrations. Little bun. He's like, why are you following me? Why are you following me? I'm scared. So the first exercise is the cat-cow. We've got a little Cinnamon here. So to do the cat-cow, you want to be on all fours, on your hands and knees. You've probably done this exercise before. We need to mobilize the lower back to be able to touch our toes better. So to do this, you want to hunch your back as much as you can, really pushing with your hands. And then you're gonna arch your back as much as you can. And then hunch as much as you can. Okay, so let's try that again. So the first exercise is the cat-cow. You've probably done this exercise before. You're gonna be on all fours. So on your hands and knees, hands are gonna be directly underneath the shoulders. Knees are gonna be right underneath your hips. Hunch the back as much as you can, especially from the lower back. Arch your back as much as you can. And again, hunch as much as you can. Really, really push, because this is the movement where you're gonna need when you are wanting to touch your toes. And then arch. One more time, hunch as much as you can, and arch. A hunch and an arch is 1 rep, and you wanna do about 15 reps and do 2 to 3 sets of that. So the next one is the seated hip hinge. This one is going to help us open the back of the hips there. You can have your feet slightly spread apart just to get the hinge better in the beginning. Having your feet a little bit more apart is going to be easier. Hinge from your hips, keeping the back straight, and then come back up. Hinge, pretend you're doing a deadlift. If you don't know what a deadlift is, we're going to teach you in a separate video, but right now this is all you're gonna do. Try your best to keep your back straight. Come down, hold it for a few seconds, and then come up. If this is too easy and you don't feel a stretch at the back of your legs, you can have your legs slightly closer, keeping both feet on the ground, and come back up. Keep both feet on the ground. Right now, as I'm doing this, even though I'm seated, I really feel a stretch in my hamstrings there. And come back up. The biggest mistake that people are gonna make with this is rounding your back to slouch down, and we don't want that. Make sure you're really sticking the butt back, keeping your core tight to hinge back, and then come back up with the feet flat on the ground. So that's it. The next exercise is going to be the sciatic nerve floss. So for this one, we're gliding our sciatic nerve back and forth because the sciatic nerve can be a component of why we can't touch our toes. To stress our nervous system a bit more, we can slouch down. And essentially what you're gonna do is kick one leg up and back down, keeping the head down. When you are slouched down with your head down, you're going to be stressing the sciatic nerve more. And you also want to point your toes towards you. So instead of like that, you want to be up. Make sure you bring your toes towards you. The whole time, keep it up like so, and keep your head down. You can do both sides and do each leg about 15 times and do 3 sets. So the other variation you can do is on your back. It's a very similar thing. All you're gonna do is keep your other leg straight. You're on your back. Just glide it back and forth like this. So back and forth, and keeping your toes, again, pointed up and not pointed like that. So like that. Keeping the toes pointed up towards you. And you're gonna do 3 sets of 15. So same prescription applies, and then do the other leg. Hopefully your dog doesn't come to lick your face when you're doing it. But this is essentially what you want to do. So after that, we're gonna go into eccentric strengthening using a Romanian deadlift, either staggered or bilaterally. I'll show you that next. Hi. So I'm going to first show you the Romanian deadlift bilaterally. If you have dumbbells, feel free to use them. If you don't, then you can start with no weights for now. To do a Romanian deadlift properly, what you want to be doing is hinging backwards with the hips. The most common mistake that I would see is rounding their back to come down. So this, you're not going to be really opening up the backside, but you're just rounding the back. What you want to do is make sure your core is engaged, slide your hands down your legs, pushing your hips back. So you should really feel tension right here at the back side here. Make sure feet, 3 points of contact on the ground, push through the ground, come back up. Stick that butt back, not rounding, back is flat, feel that stretch, and then push through the ground, come back up. Once you get the hang of this, what you want to do is same thing. You're going to slide the dumbbells down your legs, going to slide down, really feeling that stretch, making sure the back is flat, push through the ground, squeeze your bum to come up, come down slowly, so in about 4 seconds on the way down, and push through the ground, squeeze your bums back to come up, so like that, down, 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 back is straight, come up, like that, come back up. So this is the most important component of our whole exercise program here, the eccentric strengthening part of our routine. This is the most important because it's going to help keep the gains that you make with the mobility work that we just did earlier. The other exercise I like to do is a variation of that. It's called the staggered Romanian deadlift. Similar concept applies, but this time you can focus on one leg more than the other, which is really going to help stretch out that backside one side at a time. And this is also better because we don't have that balance component that we have to do with the single leg Romanian deadlifts. The staggered deadlift, let's take a look. We're just gonna need one dumbbell with this one. So you're gonna be in a staggered stance. I personally like to hold the dumbbell on the same side as our stance leg. This leg is going to be very light, so you should be able to kind of pick it up and it's very light the whole time. The exact same thing applies. The whole foot is planted on the ground with the stance leg. Slide that dumbbell down, keeping the back straight. You should really feel that backside on the stance leg here. Push through the ground, squeeze your bum to come up. So again, this leg has to stay very light without hunching. You're sticking that butt back as far as you can, and then staying light on your other foot. Squeeze your bum to come back up. One more time. Make sure the knee's slightly bent. Give yourself some give in the knee. Push through the ground, come back up. From the back, it's gonna look like this. Drive through. That is the staggered deadlift. Some people, if your hip is weak, you might notice that your hip might be off. It could be asymmetrical and this hip is really hiked up. This could be indicative of your hip being a little bit weak. We have other videos to cover that topic. Right now, doing all these exercises together is going to help you be able to finally touch your toes. So I hope you enjoyed Cinnamon, and thank you so much for watching till the end of the video. Smash the like button below if you learned anything new today, and share it with your family and friends so you can all start aging backwards and not feel sore and stiff all the time. Until next time, I should get Cinnamon. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Cinnamon, oh, what's happening, Cinnamon? You're just like a little Cinnamon. Just a little Cinnamon. She's scared of the camera. Right, Cinnamon? She's scared of the camera. She's scared. She's so scared. That's why she's hiding here. Yeah.